Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. You're listening to the Maryam Mkwanda show on Salam Media. A sentence handed to a pedophile father who used his little children to produce pornographic material for sale has been received with outrage. The man, aged 41, was sentenced yesterday in the South Gauteng High Court sitting in Palm Ridge to 8 years in jail. This light sentence has angered and caused outrage by child protection organizations. And joining me on the line right now is Miranda Friedmann, the director at Women and Men Against Child Abuse, to discuss this a little bit more. Hi, Miranda.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. Thanks for talking to me.
Oh, thank you for joining me. So, when you heard about this sentence, how did that make you feel as the organization Women and Men Against Child Abuse?
As you said, we are completely outraged. You know, when initially we looked at the various counts, there were 7 counts in total, some of possession, distribution, as well as creation of child pornography, using his own children, also using his wife in the manufacture of child pornography. And we saw that we were looking at approximately 66 years. That's actually looking at all the different counts and the varying of years that he gave. Just on the count of pornography, he had given 8 years of the 66 years. So we were looking that the judge was going to be giving him something like a 25-year sentence, since he had cumulatively, we would have looked at the 66 years. But, we really have a problem with laws being run concurrently when we look at very serious offences like child sexual abuse and child rape and child pornography. We must remember that in order to create that image, a child was sexually violated, a child was raped, a child was assaulted, and that crime on its own would have constituted a life sentence. When we talk about pornography, we prefer to use the terminology of images of child sexual abuse, child sexual rape. So I think we need to know that there would not be an image if a child had not been sexually violated. So when we look at something which is really a slap on the wrist to a very serious crime, it worries us that the judiciary is diminishing actually the crime of child pornography. The other fact is that this image is on the internet already. It's been circulated, bought, sold, distributed, and will continue to be so for many years to come. So it is not as if the child can ever reclaim that image or remove that image from the internet. So their lives are repeatedly violated every time somebody gets hold of that image. We're very, very disappointed, as you can hear, and we've tried for many years and have been pleased in 2 prominent cases when they received high sentences, and the people are still serving those sentences, and particularly in the Beale case, where we were only looking at possession of pornography. But here you have children at home, children who are vulnerable, who rely on their family to protect them, who somebody has access to, and then to say that he did this because he was short of money. I mean, this is just absolutely diabolical. You can hear, as an organization, we are horrified. We will look at what we can actually do about this, and whether we have to take this to the Chief Justice or find a way in which to appeal this incredibly low sentence. And as I said, we really feel there is no justice when sentences run concurrently. This is not what we expected. When we saw individual counts being given reasonable sentences, we really expected this man to be sitting in jail for a very long time.
This is definitely disturbing and very disgusting, and it's also very calculated. So somebody cannot say that they were short of money and thus decided to abuse their children and do such things to their children for the sake of money, and to make matters worse, have an account in the child's name to where they would be receiving their money. This is calculated. So obviously the sentences need to be harsher than just a mere 66 years.
Absolutely, but I think we would have been able to be, we would have found that at least moving in the right direction of seriousness. But this type of a sentence absolutely diminishes this crime, as I said. And also, when we are speaking now, and the president has been speaking since last September about violations against children and putting children's rights as a priority in this country, and then we get this kind of a sentence. I mean, what does that say? So, we will have to find the way that we will look at asking for a review of the sentence. That's probably the best that we can do right now. But what we hope to do at the moment is to create public outrage, and then to bring this forth and say that, we have had numerous requests to be speaking on this platform regarding this sentence, and that the public feels that somebody like this should not be able to get out, because we know, that after 50% of serving your sentence, you can apply first of all for a sentence conversion, and secondly, a year or so after that, you could apply for parole. So, both those things are open to him. They've not been excluded, and he could be out in 4 or 5 years, which would be diabolical. So after ruining children's lives forever, So we have to look at the very long-term impact of child sexual abuse on children, and the trauma that these children have been through and exposed to at the hands of somebody whom they live with, and whom they probably loved and expected the same care and protection and love in return, and instead were violated in the most horrific way. So it's thank you for highlighting it. I think it's very important we keep this discussion going, and I think we really need to look at the issue of child sexual abuse images being brought to the attention of the judiciary, and what the expectations are of the public. That these are not simply sort of adult nudie pictures. These are children, vulnerable children, being sexually violated in a way that will affect them for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely unacceptable, but it has somehow been normalized that child pornography and taking pictures and posting pictures of nude pictures of kids online is acceptable. But this is unacceptable. For those who may not know, what are the dangers of posting nude pictures of a child online?
Well, one of the obviously the most dangerous is that they can be so easily saved and shared and then put onto other platforms. They can also be morphed, so it's immediately. I mean, the minute that you do that, and unfortunately, and people may think it's quite innocent, sort of putting their children playing as in a bathtub or in a swimming pool or something, or playing in the garden. But the problem is that these can be so easily saved and shared and used, and also cause some further stimulation that people look for more graphic content. So that would probably be one of our most concerns. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I'm already at court, and I would need to leave you now. But I thank you very much for the opportunity of speaking to you.
All right. Thank you, Miranda, for chatting to us, and good luck with court.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Miranda Friedmann, who unfortunately could not continue chatting to us as she is currently at court. And if you'd like to know more information, she is the director of the Women and Men Against Child Abuse. You can get some more information about what they do, but we'd like to get some more outrage of such lighter sentences. I mean, this was just one sentence, but listen to this other sentence. A 24-year-old man was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Only 5 years in prison for having material, child pornographic material, and another was sentenced to 20 years. So there's definitely something wrong in our judicial systems when it comes to protecting children. Children are supposed to be the most protected in the country, and yet we have a situation like this here where child pornography is easily created, easily distributed, and the perpetrators get life sentences like 5 years, 20 years, 8 years, 66 years. What about 25 years? The maximum sentence. What about that? Why not do justice to the kids whose lives have already been tormented enough, whose lives have already been shattered? And when they grow up, they still have to carry this burden with them, this burden of being a child who was once photographed doing vile things. It's unspeakable, and it is unfair. So we need the public to stand up against child pornography. We need harsher sentences. We need people to be made examples of, so that others would not go down this route and do similar actions. Guys, please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, same procedure. And you can also send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.